The pure meaning of life can be fully understood only when you are forced to extract, or wring, the positive lessons and experiences out of a seemingly useless time of suffering. The lessons that are presented right in front of your face are usually not as meaningful as ones that you can take from times of pain and suffering. When you experience a time where you feel the emotions of happiness or excitement, you usually enjoy it while it lasts, but any memories or lessons that you took from it will eventually disappear. When you learn a lesson from an extremely difficult or grueling time in your life, your fear or hatred of that time will etch lessons and memories into your mind that will consist of morals that will stick with you for the rest of your life. Throughout the novel, Richard Wright's only way to understand why certain things happen is by finding the positive impact they might have on his life or the lessons he learned from them.
Everyone has difficulty trying to fit in with their peers, but for Richard Wright, this difficulty is irrationally high. Not only is he an outcast because of his awkward nature and sullen home life, he is also a Negro, securing him a low spot on the totem pole. The scene where this quote is located is based on Richard's leaving home and having to obey his mother's wishes about saying goodbye to his acquaintances. Though the scene may not seem life-changing, the quote really gives the reader an in-depth view of what Richard is really thinking of his life. Conformity means to behave according to a set of standards, rules, or laws. Any person with feelings and opinions has difficulty conforming to what they are asked to. If we were to try to walk in Richard's shoes, we would see a more extreme version of this conformity. If Richard doesn't act in the correct way, he could be severely punished. Just because he does what is asked of him does not mean that he agrees with it. Throughout the book, Richard has to conform to do what is expected of him, and when he reaches his breaking point, he lashes out in consequential ways.
Throughout the novel, Richard Wright learns many things having to do with human behavior, political struggles, and the idea of communism. But perhaps the greatest lesson was how he discovers the power in his own words. In his closing, he states in a rather foreboding tone how he was not sure how his writing would be taken by the world. In this excerpt, he describes a hunger for human life. He is talking about curiosity and the demand to be recognized as an individual. Many people succeed in being recognized as more than just a statistic, but a far greater number don't. It is the overall goal of the majority of the population to be remembered for something, and Wright ended up succeeding in this goal. Throughout his writings, in which he describes the sense of the inexpressibly human by simply hurling words into the darkness.
This quote is from the beginning of chapter 13 and is an important turning point for Richard in the book. Before this event, Richard wasn't sure what he was going to do with his life. After this, Richard's imagination is reborn and begins to take an interest in literature again. Richard is empowered by the power of literature to stand up not only for himself, but for everybody who is scared to face the white people.
This quote from chapter 18 is just after Richard returns from the John Reed Club. Richard realizes that the problem with the world is not the lack of food or physical violence, but the lack of human unity. Richard feels that equality between race and gender is the answer to the discrimination and racial problems that our world sees today. Richard believes that with equality men can unite and be able to live in a society of peace and justice.